How we going, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. We're doing a retrospective, and I've promised this retrospective for ages. And I just looked back at a review of the band's latest album that I did, where I promised I would do a retrospective because every review I do, I go, I'm going to do a retrospective on this band. And yeah, this was in 2022, so I'm starting the year off with getting this retrospective done. So here's a big pile of CDs. Have you guessed who it is yet? It's Protector. Now, Protector are a German. Well, they were started out in Germany, but they're now based in Sweden. And they were one of those bands. They were sort of the sort of German thrash. Who were the big four? Like, you know, you got Sodom, Creator, Tankard, so on and so forth. And then so Protector is sort of like the. You got them at the top, and then the sort of next level down, a Protector, and so on and so forth. But they've got a really good back catalogue. They've got a really complicated. You've got to make notes as we go along because we're going to go through the lineup changes. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be good, and there's a lot of demos, live EPs, and odds and sods with this as well. So what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to the albums, and then we'll go into the odds and sods at the end. I'll show some vinyl off as well. There's a bit of vinyl porn for you vinyl addicts out there at the end. And yeah, we'll get into it with the power of Guinness. We will get through this. So it's not too bad actually once you get going. So Protector are, yeah, like I say, they're one of those bands where some of my favourite metal music is death metal, but generally speaking, I listen to thrash metal more. But my favourite type of metal is the thrash metal bands that just sort of walk right up to the death metal line and just bounce up and down on the line. They don't quite cross the Rubicon into death metal. And there are certain death metal bands that start out as thrash metal. Like I've argued that the first Cannibal Corpse album is actually a thrash metal album, and I was quite happy to have Chris Barnes confirm that when I interviewed him. But just as an example, excuse me, bands like Solstice. Morbid Saint, you know, bands like that. I'm not going to going through the whole record collection, but yeah, it's bands like Solstice, Numbskull, Morbid Saint, and Protector, exactly. Yeah, the bands that they're thrash metal that just go up to the death metal line, don't go cross over, and that's pretty much what Protector were doing. But there's bits of melody in there as well that doesn't sort of take away from the heaviness or the intensity of the music. And what you've got here is just a really good collection of songs as well. They're just really good songwriters. And like I said, there's a bit of a thingy history in terms of lineup changes, but yeah, we'll get into it. So right, there's a couple. As I said before, there's a couple of demos at the beginning. I find with these retrospectives, you can get a bit lost in the demos at the beginning, and then you end up spending a load of time on them and then not getting into the. So we'll cross the demos later on. We're going to start with Misanthropy, the first original EP. But we'll go through a bit of history first. So the band started originally around 1986, and they were originally formed by drummer Michael Hayes. I think I'm going to be butchering these names as well, and I do apologise. So you got Hansi Muller on guitar and Michael Hasse on HASSE on drums. They were the two original guys that formed the band initially, and yeah, as we will go into it, we'll find that, you know, there are no original members left in the band. Mind you, frontman Martin Missy is I I consider him an original member, really. I mean, I don't. When demo lineups and stuff like that, to me, your first established recording, be it an EP or an album, that's like boom, that's the first lineup that we're interested in. So yeah, the band formed roughly around 1986. Michael Hess was on the drums and vocals to begin with Hansi Müller on the guitar, and Michael Schneibel on bass. And yeah, they wanted the name Protector. They wanted something that ended in or, so Creator, Protector, and there's they got the thing from a Slayer song, Aggressive Protector, and you got there's a thing with death metal as well. You know, everyone's name ended in shun. I remember reading an interview with Benediction, and they said something about the name. It's just a name that ends in shun. You know. That was the thing to do. So the band's in 1987. This is when Martin Missy comes on board, and they do the original Misanthropy demo. Now this is one of my favourite releases by the band, and yeah, so we've got Martin Missy on vocals, Hansi Müller on guitar, Aid Belechmere on bass, and Michael Hesse on drums. Again, I'm sorry if I am butchering the pronunciations of your names. But yes, this starts off nicely with a cool sort of keyboard riff with some cool, like, distorted spoken word. Very 80s, but I love it. I love that atmospheric 80s horror that a lot of releases around this time have. And then, yeah, it starts off, and then it kicks in with the keyboards and everything. It kicks into this really cool shredding. Tracks like Holy Inquisition starts off sort of slow and mid-paced, but then it has this really cool riff, but then the speed kicks in. It's just awesome. It sort of goes back and forth between like a shredding chorus and like a slow sort of mid-paced verse. It's got kind of like a cool sort of Slayer riff going over the verse, and then you got Agoraphobia, great, catchy, awesome chorus. The shouted chorus. The Mercenary is just mental, crazy riffing on that. Then you got like songs like Cain and Abel, which is a main like staple in the band's live set even today. A lot of these songs are really. You still get a lot of, if you're going to see the band live today, you're going to get a lot of songs off this even now. And yeah, what a great way. Holocaust as well. Sort of Holocaust, you know, in hindsight, it's kind of black metal in a way. Cool main riff on that, and it's got like a real sort of classic metal feel to it as well. So then the same lineup. So you got the original lineup does the first couple of albums. These are in slightly different order. So next up in 1988 we get Golem. This is another stunning album. They really do start with a 1-2 punch, this band. Delirium, what's it called? Delirium Tremens is a absolute chaos, and it just kicks in. There's no fancy intros on this. There's no messing about. Straight into it. No introductions, you know. And the whole album doesn't really stop for breath, really. You got Germanophobe, which have I pronounced that right? Yeah, Germanophobe. Great lyrics on that, and yeah, real important message on that one. Protector of Death. Now, Protector of Death was a track on the original demo. I think Cain and Abel was as well. What you normally find as well, the band have a lot of EPs and demos, but they predominantly the songs from those demos and EPs always end up getting re-recorded on albums anyway. Megalomania is another fantastic track, and this starts the trend. They kind of stick to it a bit later on. We'll get to that, but we've got to see the masterpiece that is Space Cake, a good like minute and a half song. Excuse me, about eating a space cake and feeling better, and not that we condone such activities on this channel, but I'm going to say, though, I'm sorry to be that guy, but I prefer Protector of Death. I do prefer the demo version, but I think I prefer the introduction. It's got like another cool sort of cool keyboardy thing. But yeah, Misanthropy and Gollum, great way to start a back catalogue. And then 1989, without even stopping for breath, we get is it Earn the Mad or Earn the Mad? I can't remember what Earn the Mad. This one is still a good album. I mean, none of this is bad, but this one I slightly. This one's a bit more the. There's definitely a bit of a difference in the production in this. The guitars are a lot thicker. It's not quite as sort of loose and sort of shreddy as the original releases. This one's got like a bit of like a thicker sound to it, and this one as well has got a bit more. There's more sort of melodic passage, but there's a bit more. This isn't always about speed. This one's got a bit more groove to it, a bit more sort of slow and doomier sections. Capitalism. No, it's not. Capital. Let me get the printing of it because there's a play on words on this. It's like fascism but capitalism mixed together. What's the capitashism? I think I've got that right. Excuse me. Great song though. It's clean sort of melodic intro, and then it just kicks in with this thicker, muddier sound. There's nothing's changed, but it's slower than usual. But it's kind of like a dirty. It's got like a dirty, cool solo on that song as well. What's the song called? The most repudiant antagonist of life. I think it is. I'm gonna have to get the printed version here. This is written in some. The most repugnant antagonist of life. And it's got kind of like a post-punk feel to it. It's got like a cool rhythm to that. So it's got a cool sort of widdly solo over the top of like a slower paced verse. But yeah, it's got a cool sort of beat to it, that one. Like I say, kind of almost post-punk in a way. And overall, though, this album is slower, it's groovier, it's got thicker guitars, and Martin's vocals are a lot harsher on this as well. Right, now we get into the lineup changes. So I did print off some notes here. Right, so Martin leaves the band, and Ollie, what's the guy's name? Right, so in 1989, Martin leaves the band, and he's replaced by Ollie Weeble. He does a bit of touring, and then Martin comes back, records this album, but then leaves again, and then Ollie comes back as vocalist full time, and then they do Leviathan's Desire EP. Right, we're caught up now, I think, and I never normally do notes, but for this retrospective I had to do loads. So Leviathan's Desire is in 1990, and like I said, we've got a new singer on this one, Ollie Weeble, and it's generally regarded as that this is where the band start to take more of a death metal approach. And yeah, I mean, they're kind of going in that way anyway, and I think music in general was. They say this is 1990. The drums sound quite tinny on this as well. I'm like, I had some points where I was wondering if this was actually a drum machine. But it's just 4 songs. This one, I think, has got a couple of. I know I've got one bonus track, like an extended. No, it's 4 songs. Yeah, just 4 songs. You get a re-recorded version of Cain and Abel, which is slightly longer. Subordinate, that song is awesome. And yeah, I think the standard is maintained, but yeah, it's seen that we're going in a slightly different direction. Right, so we've got the new era now. So at this point, Hans Miller leaves the band, and Ollie takes over on guitar. So he's now a vocalist and guitarist. And then Aid Bilichmere on bass. He leaves the band as well. So recording the next album, they're down to a two-piece, and you've got basically Michael Haas does all of the drums. Well, all of the drums. He's always been the drummer. Sorry. So he's on drums, but Ollie has done everything else on the next album. He's done vocals, guitar, and bass. And then next up, we get the masterpiece, which is A Shedding of Skin. I mean, the album cover shows you all you need to know. This is where I first got into the band. I remember David Ingram, God bless him, writer for Brutalism.com, a number of different magazines. He did podcasts, but he was also the bass player in the UK band Vindicator. And he was such a fun guy, and I do miss him dearly. But it was him that actually introduced me to this album. And he sold me my first copy of it. I did have an original copy of the first pressing or whatever, but I'm not really one for first pressings. If a superior newer edition comes out, I just replace them. I don't really, But yeah, I got distracted by the artwork there, and I thought there was something on there here I needed to. Right, so Ollie does the vocals, guitar, and bass, and then bass player Mats Grun joins on bass for after the recording, and Michael Hess, the original member. So the drummer's the only original member now on drums. But yeah, this is the classic. Most people get into the band through this album, and it's a masterpiece. Basically, it's just fantastic. It's like, as I just said earlier, I love the thrash metal that just goes up to the death metal line but doesn't quite cross it, and this is a perfect example of that. I should make like a list of those type of albums that I'm talking about one day and maybe explain what I'm talking about. But yeah, awesome keyboard melodic introduction. Then we go into Mortuary Nightmare, and it's just non-stop from there. And everything is perfectly paced, from shredding, vicious sounding riffs to slow, groovy, sort of breakdowny bits to solos, slow and doomy bits, but then it brings straight back up to speed, and everything is just perfectly paced all the way through it. Shedding the Skin, Retribution of Darkness, like every song on this is just awesome. Then the album pauses, and we get Necropolis, which is just like a last minute, bit like a second introduction in a way, and it just makes you pulse with breath. It sort of cleanses the palate, and then bang, Tantalus, even more shredding and craziness, up until the closing track, Towards Destruction. It's just, yeah, this is the 10 out of 10 album. This is the one to start with. This is funny because, yeah, you got one original member on this, but this is the one most people remember. So, and this was in 1991. Now, how do you follow up a classic? Well, quite simple, really. You just make another one. So in 1993, the band puts out The Heritage. Now, at this point, Michael Hess, the only original member, leaves the band as well. And Ollie is the one that, keep the dream alive, really. So the bass player, Mats Grun, who joined, he didn't record on the album, but he joined when the album came out. It's him on bass, and then we get a new drummer. I forget the guy's name. Marco Pepe on drums. So we got Ollie Weeble on guitar and vocals, Mats Grun on bass, and Marco Pape. Sorry if I'm pronouncing these names wrong. And this is like this one, but just extended. So the opening track, Mental Malaria. Now it's absolute bonbons. But as crazy as this is, it actually has a nice sort of subtle keyboards sort of in the background throughout the song, and it has like a nice melodic solo on this as well. So it's kind of as punishing as this album is. This one's got a bit of melody in it, but it just adds to it. Lost Property, Prophecies, no, Lost Properties. It's got like this frantic, almost melodic shredding before leading into like a clean melodic section, and then kicks back in, and it's just awesome all the way through. You've got an awesome sort of slow section. You've got a melodic solo over the top at the end as well. You've got Convicts in the Street. Now that's got another sort of bouncy rhythm to it. Do you remember earlier I said about one of the songs got kind of like a Killing Joke post-punk feel to it? You get that with Convicts in the Street. It's a bit of a loose punky feel to it, but it's all well and good. Paralyzer, not even a minute long, and it's just utter insanity. It's awesome. Chronology, really frantic, non-stop speed all the way through. And then the album finishes with 2 instrumentals. So you got Palpitation and then just an outro. But it's a bit of a jammy, cool sort of intro. It's just an instrumental, basically. But it's good. It's good. So overall, this is a bit more varied than The Shedding of Skin. But it's definitely worth. I mean, it's the 1-2 punch for me. I mean, I think this is the golden age of Protector. If you want to get into Protector, these are the 2 albums to start with. These are the 2 best ones. But got a long way to go. It doesn't stop there. So I'm just going through my history here, and nope. Right, so we've got that. Now, in 1994, tragically, Michael Hess, the original drummer, dies of a drug overdose. And the drummer of Leviathan, not Leviathan, The Heritage, Leviathan's Desire was the last EP. I forget the guy's name. Right, so Michael Hess was the original drummer. He was the original member up until this point. Ollie Weeble is the original member left from that album to this album. And then on this album, you've got drummer Marco Pep, or Pepe. Again, if I pronounce your name wrong, sorry. Michael Pepe is now the only original member. And he does a demo with a whole new lineup called Resurrected. And, you know, you'd be forgiven for writing this off, really, because it's like, well, you got one member that did one album with a whole new lineup, but you know, but no, there was a Protector box set that came out last year or 2023, and this is included in it. So this is canon, ladies and gents. Let's go for the lineup. Oh, this all folds out. Oh, look at that. Yeah, see, bona fide release now. It's not just a. I forget the. Right, let's see if they've got a lineup in here. I'll tell you what, I might read this out. The Forgotten Lineup. On the 26th of February 1994, about half a year after they released the album The Heritage, Ollie Weeble, vocals and guitar, and Matt Scroon and Marco Pep did one final gig together. Or Pepe did one final gig together. I'll just call him Marco from now on. Yeah, one final gig together in Fritz Efein Detmold in Germany. The band members agreed on to take a 1-year break and to continue with the band after that. At that point, nobody could know that gig would be the last performance of the band for more than 5 years. So in 1996, Marco was the only band member left and still wanted to continue with Protector. About 1 year later, he had found a lineup. It was stable for at least 4 years. His new bandmates were Matthias Lidner on bass, Jacek Zander on vocals, and Hendrik Butch on guitar. keep note of Hendrik. He would then leave and go on to form Dew-Scented. In 1999, this lineup played their first 2 gigs in Germany. Doesn't matter. In the same year, Protector recorded a 4-track demo in their rehearsal room, and the demo, Resurrected, was released the following year. On the 13th of July 2001, they played the third and last. So this lineup only ever did 3 gigs at the Thingy Festival. Quits off band, a couple of things. Right, yeah, cool. So, yeah, you get 1 EP with the cases come off. Right, so it starts off with Halloween. You know, the Halloween theme tune from the horror films. A metal version of that. Yeah, okay. We'll take it. And then you've got The End. We'll come to that later. Good thrashy track. I mean, it's very rough. I mean, it is a demo. This is a very rough recording, but it's pretty good. But most interestingly, you get a track called Touched by Rotten Fingers, which is like a slow, doomy track. And it's 9.5 minutes long. Crazy. And then Ahab's Rage. And that's another sort of mid-pasty sort of song. Gets a bit thrashy later, I think, if I remember. But and then you get a couple of live tracks. I wonder if the yeah, you get this lineup doing A Shedding of Skin, Cain and Abel, Gollum, and Kick from Hell live. So yeah, it's pretty worth getting, I suppose. Yeah, it's a bit weird because you got like Touch of Rotten Fingers isn't something Protector would have done originally with the original lineups. But it's an interesting. It would have been interesting to see where this lineup have gone, shall we say? Then things stop, and next up. So the thing, Henrik Crick to join the Protester, Dew-Scented about 2 years later, bass player thing. Around 2015, there was no activity in the Protector. Right, so in March of 2005, original frontman who did the first couple of albums, Martin Missy, I think I've pronounced again. He gets talking to some people at a concert, and basically someone tries to convince him, or does convince him, to start the band up again. Well, what he originally does is starts a cover band. So it starts out with Martin Missy and the Protectors. Let's throat's getting a bit dry. We're into the final stage. So let's just I'm trying to think what the best bit to read is. Right. So to lay the foundation for this, Martin spoke to Summer in 2011. Former back. Oh right. So yeah, he starts a cover band called Martin Missy and the Protectors, and they perform live about 24 times. Eventually, Martin speaks to original bandmate, original guitarists who formed the band, did all the demos, did the first couple of albums, Hansi Muller, and basically asked him asked for permission to, can I use the Protector name? Can I start Protector again? And yeah, it does get his full blessing. Now, in the thing I've got printed off here, it doesn't say it, but I'm sure I read somewhere that Hansi says, yes, you can use the logo, right? You know, you can use the name and the logo, but when you play live, you have to cover all areas of the band. That's not in my notes here, and I was looking for it, but I'm sure I read it somewhere that he said that. So, yeah, I don't know what's gone on. Ah, right, no. It's all right. I thought I missed something, but I haven't. That's good. Right, so let's read this bit out because it would make more sense if I just read it out. So, Martin, where is it? Bear with me, folks. Right, so basically we get a new lineup, and we get Carl Gustav or Carl Carlson on drums, Matthias Matt Johansson on bass, and Michael Carlson on guitar. That's the lineup now, and this is the lineup going forward. So you've got guitar, bass. So Martin Missy, the original vocalist, back on vocals, and you got Kyle on drums, Matthias or Matty on bass, and Mick. We're going to call him Mick from now on guitar. And yeah, we spoke to Hans Miller, who founded the band together with Martin Thing, who thought the idea was great, so Carl Mick started to write new songs. As soon as we returned to Germany in 2011, we recorded 4 songs, which were released for the Return of Thrash and Madness rehearsal demo at the Way of Darkness Festival in Germany on the 8th of October the same year. We started the gig as The Protectors and ended it as Protector. And since then they played, right, so at the Way of Darkness Festival in Germany, they played the festival, billed as the Protectors, and then during the set announced Protector is officially born again today. From this day forward, this is Protector, this is the new lineup, we're going to be Protector going forward. And we have a new demo, The Return of Thrash and Madness, and that is on sale in the merch stand now. And the people on the merch stand were instructed not to put this on the stall for sale until they make their announcement on stage. So they started as the Protectors, finished as Protector. So, yeah. So we got this original demo here. Oh, that's nice. And then, yeah, you got the... Now, you've got 4 songs here. Road Rage, Deranged Nymphomania, Terra Mater, and Birth of a Nation. And then, at this point, the band's sporadically gig and put out a number of demos and split EPs. So I'm going to go through a couple of these now. So they put this out in... Let's look at the year. Was it 2011, I said? Bear with me, folks. I'm just getting me dates lined up. Right, so here we go. We've got... Where is it? Demo, split. So yeah, so 2011. We get this. And I'm not going to go into the music just yet, but I'll explain why in a sec. That was 2011. Then in 2012, we get a split EP in the vein of Blackened Steel. And this is with Eradicator. And I'll get that. And this one, you just get one song. The Dermholt. Although it's later spelt Dimholt. So I don't know which one the misspelling is on. Have we got anything cool in here? Yeah, so that's the photo at the time. Is this just a black edition? So, yeah, just standard black. And then in 2000, what did I say this year was? We had 2011. You know what? I think we'll just put that on the side for now because it's not going back in. It's not cooperating. And then in 2000 and... Yeah, so that was the 2012. Then in 2013, we get Merciless Metal Onslaught. Another split EP with a black metal band. I can't remember what they're called. I can't read that logo either. Let's have a quick look at the... So the last one was with Eradicator. This is, yeah, Merciless Metal Onslaught with Ungod. And this is on Goat Cult Symphonies. Anything cool in here? Here we go. You see that? Oh, no. Look at that. They're a lovely bunch. And we've got anything cool here to show off? No, not really. And what is this? Is this another just standard? Just standard black. You got the other band logo there as well. And, right, so as I mentioned, the band are reactivated under Martin's lead, and they put out a demo with 4 tracks, a split EP, 1 new track, and then another split EP with 2 new songs, Xenophobia and Lycopolis, and a re-recorded Retribution in Darkness, which was originally on the Shedding of Skin album. Now, everything apart from the re-recording of a Shedding of Skin, which is good, it's worth a listen, but these are worth getting if you're a completist, and if you see them for a decent price, by all means get them, but don't drive yourself mad spending crazy money, because all of the songs are re-recorded on the next 2 albums going forward, and in all fairness, they do sound better. So now we come to the final stage of the band. There's not a lot really to say musically that you've not really I've not already said. So basically, the band start again. So in 2013, we get Reanimated Homunculus. I think that is. I've never really. It's one word. It's one thing reading a word and then saying it out loud. We got any band pics in here? There we go. Hello, ladies. And this has been the same lineup up until present day. So this is and this is actually it's kind of the new lineup. They've been going since 2011. The new guys. But this has been the most consistent lineup. It's the longest serving lineup, and we've got four albums from them. So all of these albums are awesome, basically. Sons of Cain, Deranged Nymphomania, Road Rage is an awesome song, and what I mentioned earlier with the Resurrected demo, there's a track on here called The End. That is re-recorded on this album as well. So you get a couple of EPs and odds and sods here, but pretty much everything gets re-recorded on the next 2 albums. So we get Reanimated Homunculus in 2013. Then in 2016 we get Cursed and Coronated. This is awesome. This is great. This is really good. This is better. Xenophobia, which is on those EPs, opens the track. Got a little intro track. Then where do we begin? I mean, the Demholt, and it sounds a lot better on this one as well. If you like it, like sort of demos, if you're into black metal, if you like scratchy sort of thingy demos, then these EPs might suit you. But they're recorded properly on these albums. But it's just perfect. It's just thrash metal. It's like a thrash metal joint of meat with a death metal sauce. Like a death metal glaze to finish. But what this lineup do as well, they incorporate melody into the songs, but it's mainly in the solos. But those solos bring to mind, Maiden and Priest and just classic metal in that way. Because obviously the band started in Germany. I forgot to mention that Martin actually relocated to Sweden, so this current lineup is now all Swedish players. And obviously you've got your melodic death metal and whatnot. So you've got the sort of the thrashy sort of chaotic, anything could go wrong at any second thrash of Germany, but with the melody of Sweden all mixed together now in the catalogue. But yeah, this is a phenomenal album. But then again, they're all great. I mean, Summon the Holds comes next. That was in, bear with me, 2019. And Stillwell Avenue, opening track, is all about the Warriors, one of the greatest films ever made. Got any cool? This is a High Roller Records as well, and the band's back catalogue's been more or less, yeah, pretty much all of the band's back catalogue has been reissued through that record label, and as well as the new albums, and you get everything in like a nice cool slip cases, and you get like a little fold out poster, and I think what sets this lineup apart from the rest of the thing is, it's not that the band aren't taking themselves or the music seriously, but it feels, these 4 albums just feel fun. You know, this is, it's spiky wristbands, patch covered denim jackets, heavy metal, and beer. What more do you want in life, you know? And up until then, we got the current album. This came out in 2022, I believe. This is fairly new because you've got a song called Pandemic Misery. There's a really good song. Yeah, Summon the Holds. I mean, I'll read you the lyrics to it. I mean, I think they play some fairly, you know, fairly, I don't want to say small venues, but they play clubs. I think they mainly do festivals, but Summon the Holds. Take the train, take the car or the bike. A band's in town, and I know you will like. See the posters, see the pentagram. It comes to you like a battering ram. Into the hall, to the front row. Feel the excitement in you grow. Bang your head and make the sign. Now you're there at the front line. Summon the Holds, protectors in town. Summon the Holds for a thrash metal meltdown. There you go. What more do you want? So it starts off kind of disjointed. You've got a load of demos, lot lineup changes. You've got these 2 classics in the middle, bit of upheaval with the lineup change, and then from 2013 onwards, you get a 4-album solid run of just perfect balanced thrash classic with a little bit of death metal, excuse me, with some beautiful melodic solos. Martin's, you know, harsh vocals, and what I was meant to mention as well. So on Gollum, is it Gollum? It's Gollum, isn't it? You get Space Cake. Yeah, it's the closing track, Space Cake, like a minute and a half, fun song. We start that again. With each of these albums, you get the album closes with a fun song. So you got Cali Brutal on this one, The Old Boil, which is basically about getting drunk, Glove of Love, yeah, and then this one we get Morse Mania. Although the songs are generally short, this one's about 3.5 minutes, but it's all about Morse codes. But like I say, it's good fun, and that's what's great about this lineup, is that it's not like funny or not being taken seriously, but you can just tell they're just having fun. They're playing the music they love and having fun with it. Still not finished. Right, so at the beginning we get a couple of demos and some live albums and whatnot. You can kind of go mad getting hold of these, but I would say just get these couple of compilations and be done with it. So you get the Protector of Death demo in 1986. That you get as a bonus tracks on the current edition of Misanthropy. So the original 1986 demo you get as bonus tracks on this. So don't go driving yourself mad trying to track it down. For all you completists out there. Then you got live in Brunswick. I can't pronounce these. Live in Munchen, live in Wolfsburg. Yeah, basically all of these. All you need is these two here. So you get, first up, we've got Welcome to the Fire. Welcome to Fire. And on this, I'll show you it off now. Welcome to Fire. Is there anything good in here to look at? Not really. Yeah. So you get... oh, here we go. Oh, so that Resurrected you get here anyway. I'd get that edition of it, though, because you get the live tracks with it. But we get Live in Wolfsburg. So the original demo there. And, oh, the 1986 that you get is... I would have thought probably on all these new ones you get them as bonus tracks anyway. So you get all them on this. But this is the one you want. All the live stuff you get, you want the Cain and Abel. This is a 2 CD compilation. And you get on here, you get the Cain and Abel demo, 1987. The Rehearsal from 1988. Live in Bad Worschofem in 1989. Then Live in Munchen, 1987. And Live in Dusseldorf, 1989. Now, one of these got put out on LP. Like I say, this is the last show that the band originally did with Martin before he left the band originally. Got anything here? No. That I've not decided what I'm going to do as a thumbnail yet, but I want to try and get something like this because I want to. That's a really cool photo there. Yeah, so the last show that the band did with Martin before he originally left the band, but you do get that. Don't go. I mean, if you're a vinyl junkie, go for it, but don't go spending ridiculous amounts of money because you do get it on this. Let's just show the vinyl off. Oh, it's just black. So, right. But what's really cool, I would definitely get this if you're a Protector completist because you get this sort of timeline family tree thing. And all the live stuff and the demos and whatnot you get. And they, the songs sound great. They do sound good, don't get me wrong, but they do. I just think they sound better once they're properly recorded. But it's worth having, It's a really cool compilation. And the live shows, especially that 1989 show, sounds great. And yeah, I think we've got to the end, folks. So that is Protector. It's only took me 2.5 years to do it, but we got there. Yeah, they're a fantastic band, and they're just, when I listen to Miss, I mean, I was listening to this just the other day, making some notes on. I was listening to when Holy Inquisition and Agoraphobia kicks in. I mean, the Misanthropy with the intro, with the keyboards and everything. I was just thinking, I miss metal like this. I wish there's just something about modern metal. It just all sounds, there's some great stuff going on right now. Don't get me wrong. But nothing sounds like a band's playing anymore. Like everything's so sterile, and I know this band are bashing their instruments a million miles an hour on this, and I know that this is might not necessarily be a perfect take, but it's a take, and yeah, it's just so chaotic and thing, but it's kind of melodic when it needs to be, but it's just good stuff. It's just real good fun metal. So, right, let's do the guide, the buying guide, the ranking, so to speak. Right, so all the LPs that I've now got to put back together and put everything back in its sleeve. get them last. You don't really need them. All of those songs are re-recorded on the last 4 albums anyway, apart from the Shedding of Skin song that they have a bash at, but that's not right. So where would you start? Yeah, I really like this band, Joe. This band sounds interesting. Where do I start? Right, so you start with Shedding of Skin and Heritage. If you like that and you want to know more, then I would say get Misanthropy and Gollum. And you go, yeah, that's all well and good, Joe, but I want more. I need more. Then you go, right, skip up to present day and get these 4 albums. Which one? Doesn't matter. They're all good. My personal favourite, Cursed and Coronated. But the last 2 albums, you can't go wrong with either of these. I will say as well, though, these 3 are literally just within 40 minutes. So they're like these perfect little doses of metal. This one's about 10 minutes long. This is 47 minutes, so you get a bit extra on this one. But yeah, with these 4 albums, the current, present, Protector, there is no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer in general, really. I mean, none of it's bad. But yeah, so start with these 2. Shedding of Skin and Heritage. Then get Misanthropy and Gollum. Then get any of the new albums. And if you want more, fill the rest of your collection. Fill all of the gaps from there. I would especially say, if you can get hold of it, get hold of the Cain and Abel 2 CD thing. So, yeah, that's it. We made it. So, thanks for watching. If this is your first video, please consider subscribing. Thanks for all the regular watchers. I've got a few retrospectives coming up. I've got a new series coming soon, and obviously releases are going to get started. So I'll be doing new album releases as the year goes on. I wish you all a happy, healthy 2025 going forward. I hope you haven't all broken your resolutions 1 month in. Yeah. Let's carry on the way we're going, really. I appreciate you all. Thank you, everyone, as well. I haven't got any notifications. I have to actually go and look on it. But a couple of you have started supporting me on buymeacoffee.com. I really appreciate that. And, in fact, let's give you a shout-out. So we've got Helly and David. Thank you, guys. And who else was it? It's just loading. Bear with me. And Alex Creamer as well. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. And yeah, thanks for watching. And let me know in the comments below, what is your favourite Protector album? What one do you think is underrated? Have you ever seen Protector live? And yeah, give me your stories and experiences below. And I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, metal, nothing like it. See you later.